The first time Liara tried to step foot into the human colony, she was shoved back so hard she nearly fell into the dust. "Get out of here, Xeno," the guard growled. His gloved hand tightened around the grip of his rifle. "We don't take your kind." Liara didn't answer. Words had never saved her before. She simply lowered her gaze, her four-fingered hands trembling as she adjusted the ragged cloak around her shoulders. The sun of Arctis 9 burned her pale, ridged skin, and she could feel it blistering already. She had walked 3 days through wasteland to reach the gates of the colony, and still the door slammed in her face. It had been this way for months. She was a Dravari, one of the once proud warrior peoples who had fought against the Terran expansion. Once, her kind were feared across the stars. Now, they were refugees scattered to the winds after their empire fell. To the humans, Dravari were nothing more than reminders of bloodshed and war. Her family was gone. Her clan had abandoned her when her injury slowed her down. Her left leg dragged, stiff with half-healed fractures. She had no home, no tribe, no allies. Only a gnawing hunger and the stubborn will to keep moving. Still, she whispered to herself as she turned away from the colony gates, one day, one door will open. The stranger at the well. Liara found water in a cracked well 2 kilometers away. She lowered the bucket with shaking arms and pulled it up drop by drop. She was not alone for long. A human man approached, his boots crunching over gravel. He had dark hair tied back in a rough knot and wore a mechanic's jumpsuit. Tools jingled from the belt at his waist. "You're going to break your back doing it like that," he said casually, kneeling beside her. Liara stiffened. She was ready for him to call her monster, thief, invader, ready for the words she had heard 1,000 times before. But the man only reached out, tested the rope, and gave her a wry smile. "See, it's frayed here. You gotta ease it down or it'll snap." He drew up the bucket for her with practiced ease, then offered it. The water sloshed inside. Liara's throat ached with thirst, but she hesitated. You would share with me." "Why wouldn't I?" He shrugged. "Water's not mine. Belongs to whoever needs it." She studied him, her predator's eyes narrowing. "Humans don't share with Dravari. Not anymore." He gave a small laugh. "Guess I didn't get the memo. Name's Marcus." Liara clutched the bucket, drank deeply, and for the first time in many cycles, felt something strange stir in her chest. Fragile, flickering thing. Oh, the bargain no one wanted. Over the next week, Liara saw Marcus often. He worked on the colony's machines, sometimes traveling outside the walls to fix broken irrigation pumps. Unlike the guards, he never turned her away. Still others did. When she limped near the market, doors slammed shut. When she asked for work, for food, for a bed, people spat at her feet. Dravari witch. Parasite. Enemy. Even when she tried to trade, offering the jewelry of her fallen kin, finely crafted silver bands, no one dared touch them. "Cursed metal," they hissed. One night, hunger gnawed so deeply that Liara staggered to Marcus's workshop. She stood in the doorway, her cloak ragged, her eyes fever-bright. "They won't let me work," she whispered. "They won't let me eat. I have nothing left." Marcus looked up from the generator he was repairing. His brow furrowed. "Liara." She dropped to her knees, the pride of her warrior ancestors burning to ash. "Then take me. Take me as your servant, your bondmate, your anything. I will offer myself if that's what it takes. Just don't close your door to me too." Her voice cracked on the last words. Marcus was silent for a long moment. He set down his tools, walked over, and crouched in front of her. His hand, calloused and scarred, rested gently on her trembling shoulder. "You don't need to sell yourself," he said softly. "I won't close my door. Not ever." The spark of defiance. Marcus let Liara stay in a corner of his workshop. She swept the floors, sorted tools, and fetched water. But more than that, she listened. She learned. He explained how human machines worked, the systems of pressure, torque, and circuits. "You've got steady hands," he remarked one evening as she soldered a wire under his guidance. "Once those hands carried a blade," she murmured. "Now they carry fire and light." But their fragile peace could not last. Rumors spread. Other colonists muttered that Marcus was harboring an enemy. Some called for his dismissal, others for Liara's exile, or worse. The breaking point came when the colony's main power relay failed. Without it, food preservation would collapse, and security systems would falter. The technicians struggled for hours, but nothing worked. Marcus, defiant as always, volunteered. "I'll fix it," he said. "But I'll need help." The overseer sneered. "Don't tell me you mean her." "She knows enough to assist me," Marcus shot back. "And she's faster with the wiring than anyone here." An uproar followed. Voices shouted, fists slammed tables. No one wanted the Dravari woman inside their vital systems. But when the backup batteries began to fail, desperation won out. "Fine," the overseer growled. "But if she sabotages us, it's your head." The fire within. Deep inside the relay station, Liara worked with Marcus at her side. Sparks flew, sweat dripped, and the air smelled of ozone. Her alien eyes tracked the complex patterns of wires and circuits. She saw the logic in them, the way energy flowed like blood through veins. It was not so different from the battle maps she once studied as a warrior. "Hand me the coil," Marcus called. She passed it, their fingers brushing. Heat rose in her chest, a confusing warmth she did not know how to name. When the final connection was sealed, the lights blazed back to life. Across the colony, systems hummed. Freezers cooled, shields reactivated, alarms reset. For one shining moment, Liara and Marcus stood side by side as saviors. But outside the station, the crowd still glared. "She only fixed it so she could break it later," someone spat. "A viper in our nest." The overseer turned cold eyes on Marcus. "You've proven your point. Now get rid of her." Choice. That night, Marcus sat in his workshop, head in his hands. Liara sat across from him, silent. "They'll come for you if you stay," he said. "And they'll come for me too." Liara lowered her gaze. "Then I should go. Every door will always close to me. That is the fate of a Dravari." "No," Marcus said fiercely. He reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "Maybe every other door closes. But not mine. Not ever." Her throat tightened. She had offered herself once out of desperation. Now, for the first time, she wondered if she could offer her heart. The attack. Fate answered for them. At dawn, raiders descended. Bands of scavengers who preyed on the outskirts of colonies. They set fires, broke gates, and stormed into the streets. The colony guards faltered. In the chaos, Marcus grabbed his tools as weapons. But Liara, she reached for something deeper. The fire of her ancestors roared awake. She fought with a strength none had expected. Her injured leg slowed her, but her arms were fast and deadly. She disarmed raiders, struck them down with precision, and shielded the weak. When a raider lunged at Marcus, it was Liara who threw herself in the way, taking the blade across her shoulder. Blood spattered, but she roared, wrenching the weapon free and turning it back.